Madam Wim said the amulet would guide us to Emperor Morikar's soul. Go ahead and use it. A wisp! Let's follow it. This is what the Longhouse Emperors expected when they made their bargain with Mehrunes Dagon. Looks like some sort of forge. I wonder if it still works. Did you hear that? It sounded like it came from the furnace. The furnace door is sealed tight. Why would my amulet lead us here?
Open the door. Your Emperor commands it.
The same voice from my memory. Emperor Morikar. There's a discharge labrum there. We need to find and charge some lucents. I think we can open the furnace door by using lucents. I want to see what's inside. See if that voice really belongs to Emperor Morikar. It certainly sounded like the voice from my memory. Let's find some lucents and figure out how this works. Is a chunk of slag. There's no doubt about it. The voice came out of that chunk of slag. And it sounds just like Emperor Morikar's voice from my memory. He wants us to free him. Do you think we should? You've seen this place. It's all about torture. I think they fused the souls of the Emperors into that chunk of metal. Seems like a fitting punishment for anyone who incurred Mehrunes Dagon's wrath. But we need to free them to talk to them. We need to ignite the furnace to melt the slag. I spotted 2 more discharge labrums. If we take that charged lucent and stick it in one, that might get us halfway there. We'll need to find a second lucent, though. There are 2 other discharge labrums. If we can find another Lucent, we might be able to ignite the furnace. Look, up there, a Lucent. Place the charged Lucent in that discharge labrum by the wall. I think we need to ignite the furnace to melt down that slag. I think we need to ignite the furnace to melt down that slag. The furnace has 2 other discharge labrums connected to it. If we move the charged Lucent you found to one of them, we'll need to find another Lucent for the second. Once both are active, that should ignite the furnace.
Released at last. Who must we thank for our freedom?
This is not freedom. No. Simply a respite from the darkness. I remember the traitors at my gates, the blade of the usurper slicing through my flesh. But I hid them away. I did my best to fulfill the bargain. I am Leovic, last of the Longhouse Emperors. But who are you? You have the stink of the traitorous Varen about you. That snake. I knew he was coming. I knew I had to take action. Preserve the plan. Keep the secret. Salvage the contingency. It started with my grandfather. But it was my father who passed the responsibility to me. It was all part of the bargain the Black Drake made with Mehrunes Dagon. We would prepare the 4 ambitions, and in return, our family would rule forever. I took action. I moved the ambitions to new vaults. Safe vaults. But before I could do more, the usurper murdered me. And how did Mehrunes Dagon reward me? By locking me away in a block of metal. And the secret of the Longhouse Emperors died with me.
I still taste the blood of my enemies, those I crushed beneath my heel. This prison is an insult. I am a conqueror, a god in my own right. My teeth have shred the flesh of hundreds, thousands. I demand the respect I deserve. Has the mortal world already forgotten the name of Durkaroch, the Black Drake, first of the Longhouse Emperors? Plan was mine. Mine! The blood of the Reach sings with fury in my veins. Dare Mehrunes Dagon betray my legacy? Lies. You have the tongue of a liar, and I will rip it from your mouth. I will not be swayed by your words. I won't let you betray me. The power promised by the Pact is mine by right. You cannot have it. Away with you!
An eternity of agony. This was not what the Prince of Destruction promised. I did everything the Black Drake commanded. Everything the High Priest instructed. And I gave precise orders to my son. So why the torture? And why is the weapon here? Daughter? You mean the weapon? Why have you brought her here? You cannot let her fall into the hands of Mehrunes Dagon. He reneged on his promise to us. I see no reason to keep our part of the bargain now. You did not know? The girl is one of the 4 ambitions of Mehrunes Dagon. But she's not like the other 3. Oh, no. I made a few modifications of my own to the High Priest's ritual. She is not just an ambition. She is my contingency. An Emperor never relies on a single strategy. We were promised power if we delivered the ambitions at the appointed time. But Daedric princes are not to be trusted. So I prepared Mairead as a weapon that could deal with Dagon, should the need arise. My daughter, the 4th ambition, she's the key. Along with the other ambitions, she can call forth the power to banish Mehrunes Dagon. That was my contingency, in case the Prince of Destruction lied, and we needed to send him back to the Deadlands. The Anchorite? Is that what you call Mairead? Ah, use her. Her and the ambitions. Bring my vengeance to the prince who betrayed us. Go to the Isle of Joys, a retreat not far from here. All the details are there. Ah, someone comes. My ambitions.
I'm an ambition? One of those people Lyrinth was talking about? How is that possible?
We are not property or playthings, Morcar.
Sombren, no!
You are what we created you to be.
You wanted a weapon? Then taste my power!
Oh, Sombren. Why?
Hey, friend. We better talk.
I almost decided not to accompany Lyrinth, but now I'm glad she insisted. How else would I have gotten the opportunity to punish the Longhouse Emperors for what they did to us? Finding the last ambition? That's just a welcome surprise. I have no interest in more of their lies, and neither should you. I gave the Longhouse Emperors exactly what they wanted. My power. Besides, they'll reform in this place eventually. I just couldn't allow them to corrupt the last ambition. Those men were evil when they were alive. Do you think an existence of torture in the Deadlands would change that? The last ambition needs to learn from Kalia and me. I sense that same power inside her that courses through us. We belong together. A fantasy. We can't hope to stand against the Prince of Destruction. Look, I've learned a lot since last we spoke. Too much to explain, and too little that you would understand. It's time for the ambitions to take our destiny in our own hands.
I didn't think Sombren was going to do something so dramatic. You have to forgive him. He's been very intense lately. I'm not sure how else to describe it. When we first arrived in the Deadlands, he insisted he could help me control my powers, that I could practice without fear of hurting anyone. But lately he's been different. Almost desperate. He spends most of his time reading that strange book, searching desperately for answers. He's obsessed with our power, trying so hard to understand it. But the more frustrated he gets, the more he pulls away. And now, this... I'm worried about him. You must remember, the book Epilogue gave him, Lyrinth called it the Mysterium Xarxis. He's become obsessed with it. He's sure the answer to controlling our powers hides somewhere among its pages, and he pores over them at every opportunity. Not in the same way. I don't think he's having dreams or anything. Sombren's always been passionate, but since Destron died, his rage has been growing, and the frustration and desperation makes that rage harder, sharper. And what he just did... I've tried, but he wants to protect me. He doesn't want to burden me with the weight he's carrying. I think he needs to work this out for himself. I just hope he can do that soon, before he lets that rage and frustration destroy him.
That man, Sombren, he seems familiar. But why did he destroy the Emperors? There was so much more I wanted to ask, especially of Morikar. I can't quite bring myself to call him father. But what Morikar said, is it true? Am I an ambition? Maybe. But familiar or not, they're still strangers. We came here for answers. And while I learned something, it feels like all I got was more questions. Right. Morikar said the answers were waiting at the Isle of Joys. I have no idea where that might be. Look, your friend Everly wants to talk to you, and I need a moment to think this through. But don't worry, I'm with you to the end. I promise.
I am not all right with what just happened. Lyrinth and I managed to find Sombren and Kalia. We convinced them to come with us. But I had no idea he was going to explode those poor ghosts. Did I hear correctly? The Anchorite is the last ambition? That's just... Did you have any idea? Well, I guess that makes it easy enough. Now we know where all the ambitions are. Did you learn anything else before Sombren blasted them into non-existence? Wait a moment, I know that name. Remember Lyrinth had me comb through the Longhouse Emperor's documents? That name was listed as one of their hunting retreats. But I couldn't find any other information. Do you know where it is? That's why the map didn't make sense. It wasn't a map of Tamriel. It's the Deadlands. All right, my friend. Let's go see what we can find at the Isle of Joys. Mehrunes Dagon could move against us at any moment.
You're one of us, Anchorite. An ambition. Do you know what that means?
I don't know a lot of things, it seems.
I can answer your questions. Come with us to a place meant only for ambitions. I'll show you.
No. We need to stay together.
I'm sorry, Lyrinth. I need to do this.
Damn it. That was a mistake that may cost us dearly. Mortals. Always so unpredictable. As annoying as that is, perhaps that's what keeps me so interested. You and Everly head to the Isle of Joys. See what you can find there. I will follow the Anchorite. I want to keep an eye on Sombren. No, and his erratic behavior worries me. Mortal minds were not meant to read the Mysterium, Xarxes. I'm wary about him separating the Anchorite from us as well. We're going to need her once you determine the nature of this contingency plan. My reaction is irrelevant. The Anchorite recently had her memories returned to her and has yet to make sense of them all. Now she discovers she's also an ambition of Mehrunes Dagon, and a tool of a father she didn't know. I understand her motivations. Have you not realized after all this time that I have my ways, little mortal? I found Sombren and Kalia once. I can do so again. In the meantime, you and Evely should search the Isle of Joys. We must discover this plan that Emperor Morikar spoke of.
If I were the Anchorite, I'd want answers too. I still have a bad feeling about this, though. Something about Sombrin was off. I don't remember him being so quick to anger back in Blackwood. As much as I want to, no. Someone has to investigate the Isle of Joys. We should stick together and take care of that. The Anchorite, though, she'll be all right, right? Good to hear. I barely know her, so I wasn't sure. Besides, Kallia's with them. She'll keep Sombrin from doing anything too crazy, I'm sure. We just have to trust that the Anchorite knows what she's doing. Everything will be fine. Now let's go!